about our most overrated and underrated wrestlers of all time. I'm drinking Autumn Spice, apparently, because I'm a basic bitch. And I guess Brews is going to be drinking something about ape juice. I don't know. Here's
No,
DDP.
this one's going to be...
Yo, monkeys, it's me. It's DDP. That's right, Diamond Dallas Page, the king of bada bing, the master of the diamond cutter, the three-time world champion, WWE Hall of Famer, and founder and CEO of DDP Yoga. And baby, it is time. It is time for the Towers of Powers, the men of the hour. I'm talking about my main men, the men with the plan. I'm talking about Whisky Pro and the Brews, baby. And we're bringing you the best in beerskis and whiskeys from the greatest city in the world, Dallas, Texas, home of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, can you dig that, baby? These guys are going to make you boys feel the bang. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
What's up?
Yo, yo, yo.
What is going on? Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, and welcome to episode number 5.
Damn, is it already number 5?
Whoa, bro, count. Let me change it. Huh? What? Hello, how are you?
So what are you drinking? What do you got?
I guess we could start the show now. I'm drinking.
Yeah, after you fucking cut me off.
That was not intentional. I already had my. I was like,
You're like, I don't know what Brews is fucking drinking, and in silence, I'm like, hey, I'm drinking, and you fucking cut right to the intro. You're like, fuck, Brews don't need to speak. It's all right. Nobody's here for Brews. I get it. I get it.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I get it, dude. I'm just, I'm just fucking the redheaded stepchild that you occasionally, let out for like 1 hour of sunlight every week.
We got some people in the chat. Hi.
What's up, Hive? How you doing, man?
So it was totally an accident. I meant to see what Bruce was doing, but my finger was already hovering over the button and it was right over DDP for the entrance. And it just boom.
You gave me like half a second. You're like, fuck this. I don't need to hear it. I don't need to hear it.
I didn't mark as 21 plus, but I don't care at this point. No, I'm drinking this Three Nations beer. It's called Sucker Punch Autumn Spice. So I went out a couple weeks ago. I think I told you this. Met it with Rapid Dave and Lizzie, and your girl Lizzie from Strikeout Beer, and we went up to Three Nations, which has become kind of like my second home away from home, if you will. And Rapid Dave's like, well, you like all these Weisses or Weiss or whatever, however you pronounce it. He goes, go try this one. It's autumn. I was like, yeah, okay. And it literally tastes like a cider. That's what it tastes like to me. It tastes like apple cider or cinnamon, not cinnamon, but just tastes like apple cider with a touch of cinnamon to it. That's what it tastes like. It doesn't even taste like a beer.
What is it called again?
Sucker Punch Autumn Spice.
Sucker Punch Autumn. Shit, Untapped doesn't even have it, dude.
Apple brew with notes of nutmeg. The nutmeg is what I'm tasting.
There you go. Yeah, there's the cinnamon, man.
The nutmeg. That's what it is. But man, it really is. When I say sucker, when it says Sucker Punch, it means it. And it's just this like just taste it, just hits you right in the mouth, man. And I know that sounds stupid, but I don't know how else to describe it. It really just, the flavor just, it packs a huge flavor. And if you're not ready for it, you're like, oh crap.
So a 4.5 ABV, a 5 IBU. So that's going to be kind of clear, isn't it?
We don't, I don't know.
You don't know. You
No.
just drink it right from the can, right? You don't even pour it in a glass.
No, I don't pour it from a glass because I'm still a noob. I'll get there. I promise. I always forget to freeze my glass. I say every week, I'm like, you know what? Next week, I'm going to freeze a glass so I can pour it on the show. I never do. And Luckily, nobody's ever actually seen me pour a beer. Cover your eyes if you do, because it's sad. It's bad. It's really, really bad. Everybody gives Rapid Dave crap. Rapid Dave ain't got nothing on me. I promise you that. So, but no, man. How have you been? What's been going on in the world of brews since I cut you off earlier? Let's get into that.
Absolutely nothing, man. It's football season. Getting into my youngest playing ball, and watching my team kind of pit putt out there. Not much, man. No complaints. Just living the dream, drinking.
Dude, I hear you. And as far as football season, I mean, we're both football fans. Obviously, I'm more of a college guy than a pro guy. You're more of a pro guy. But I try to keep up with pro sports now because I claim to be a Jets fan. Zach Wilson is a horrible.
Give him time. Give him time.
He's had 3 years. How much time does he need? No.
Well, you know what? Here, all right. So check it out. So I see so much fucking hate going on for like Kenny Pickett. Everyone jumping off that bandwagon of the Steelers, right? They're like, oh, they need to change the play calling. They need to get rid of the offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. They need to do X, Y, Z, right? And, I was saying the same argument to, a coworker. I said the same thing to a guy that does a Steelers podcast out of Pittsburgh. I even told my wife. Terry Bradshaw is arguably the number one quarterback in Pittsburgh franchise history.
He is the number one quarterback in Pittsburgh.
He is number one. He was benched 8 times in his first 5 seasons because of piss poor playing. Go on to win 4 Super Bowls. It's gonna happen. Give Wilson time. I'm not one of those where like, they're fucking up plays. He doesn't have it. As you said, he's been in the game for 3 years. How long does it take? Obviously, it takes some time. And here's the thing: he was never like a great college ball player, but he had talent. He's got
a cannon for an arm, but he has no accuracy. Go back and look at his numbers when he was in college. They weren't great. The kid's got no accuracy. He couldn't hit me if I was standing still on the 50-yard line and he was right next to me.
Okay, so tell me, why did Jets trade for him then? So soon that they did. When was it? 2020 draft?
Because they're idiots. They've built this offense around. I can't believe we're talking about the football on a beer and wrestling podcast. But the hell with it.
You brought it up.
I know. I don't care. They traded for him because they didn't have any options. Who were you going to go get at the time? Nobody.
2nd overall in the 2021 draft. There was no one to go for. Dude, San Francisco got Trey Lance after Zach Wilson. And now he's over with the Cowboys.
I've never watched Trey Lance play football, so I can't. I don't have. But my point
they passed on Justin Fields, who was picked number 11.
Okay.
Say what you will, but here's another thing: Mac Jones with the Patriots. He was selected 15.
I'll take Mac Jones over Zach Wilson.
But that's my point. I mean, there were other people. I mean, they could have clearly got somebody else if he was that bad in college.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's get away from football because I'm already pissed. I'm not looking forward to the rest of the college season because my Aggies are gonna suck.
See, I know nothing about college ball.
But if you win 6 games, you're in a bowl game. Now, bowl games don't mean nothing, but they used to. They don't anymore.
Gotcha.
I got to get this off my chest first. I have a problem.
Uh-oh.
I watched Friday Night SmackDown, as I'm sure you did, or you at least watched the recap.
I did.
I have a bit of a conundrum here, and I don't know what to do with it, but I want to get this rant out of the way. Yes, last Friday night, we saw The Rock return to SmackDown, the home. It was invented for The Rock, by The Rock, however you want to put it out there. We have SmackDown because of WWE creative, Vince McMahon, and The Rock. He returned home. The Rock hasn't been around for years. I don't remember the last time he was here, other than to do like a quick promotion. I think
a little cameo for like a WrestleMania or something.
Right,
like that.
right. And there are two sides to me right now battling it out, but the negative side is winning. So let me explain. The fan in me was ecstatic to see The Rock return. You saw that huge crowd reaction because nobody can get a pop like The Rock, Stone Cold, or The Undertaker. Nobody. That place popped. They went crazy. They're cheering and they're crying and they're going crazy. Yay, woo, Rock's here. And for a split second, I enjoyed it. I did, because it was the nostalgia. It was the memories. And then he got in the ring with Austin Theory and Pat McAfee. And all that nostalgia and all that other crap went out the window, because I'm thinking to myself, he was just on the Pat McAfee show earlier this week talking about WrestleMania. I think it was 39 last year. They had planned to do something with him and Roman Reigns.
Right.
Now, obviously, plans change, things happen. I have no problems with that. That's not an issue with me. And then he announces that they possibly have plans to do something at WrestleMania 40. Why? We don't. I'm going to say this, and it's going to ruffle some feathers, but frankly, I don't give a damn. We don't need you. We have this honestly is arguably the most stacked roster between Raw and SmackDown that we have since the Attitude Era. And I'll go on record to saying that. I think it's cool to see him back as a fan. Understand that. Yeah. Seeing him give the rock bottom or the people's elbow and saying all his catchphrases, that's really cool. And I love it. I do, as a fan. But I feel like it's a slap in the face to the business, because what you ran out of movies to do, so now you've come back to steal the spotlight from Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes and everybody else who's been busting their ass for the last 2 years? Hello? I mean, that's the kind of thing that irritates.
He did it because everyone demanded it, basically.
But we don't need him. That's what I don't understand, is you don't need The Rock, and I don't understand why we can't get past this. I grew up in the 90s.
It's the same reason that everyone went ape shit when Austin came back in number 38 and wrestled Kevin Owens.
That was different. No, it was different because it was in Texas, and we knew that was going to be it for Stone Cold. It's not like he was going to go on this grand run and do anything else. And it was in Dallas, Texas, where he got his start, because he got a start in Dallas Auditorium just down the road. I don't even know if the place is still even there. Undertaker from Texas. I mean, you had all these people that were getting inducted to the Hall of Fame and all these things that were happening in Texas. It makes sense. Triple H was retiring. Undertaker Hall of Fame. Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back in the Cowboy Stadium. Are you kidding me? That made sense. Yeah. The Rock returning to a random SmackDown on Friday night in Denver, Colorado doesn't make sense. And I don't understand. Yes, I love The Rock. I thought what he did for the 90s and the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era was amazing. It was awesome. It was groundbreaking. It was new. It was exciting. Why are you coming back at age 50 years old to fight Roman Reigns when Roman's been absent for the past, month?
At best, yeah.
You know, it doesn't make sense to me, and it drives me nuts. And I'm just gonna say it. I've lost a lot of respect for The Rock as a wrestler because of it. Because, okay, you're back, and what are you gonna do? You're gonna feud with Austin Theory till you get bored? They don't need to put Austin Theory over because he's a heel. They don't need to, and the crowd doesn't like him. They already tried that with John Cena at WrestleMania. We saw how that went. So now you're
I don't
going
think it's necessarily to start a feud with Austin Theory, though.
But my point is so what he picks on Austin Theory and then he waits for Roman Reigns to come back and then he finds his opening and he attacks. It doesn't make sense to me. No matter how I look at this, and trust me, I've thought about this for 2 days. No matter how I look at this, it does not make sense to me.
I kind of see them working the angle of have him interacting with Jimmy Uso and Sikoa, working that angle a little bit, pissing off a few of the bloodline people, and that's when they bring Roman back, and it's like a whose dick is bigger contest. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's how they set up, a potential thing in, maybe Survivor Series in November. Because it's already too late for them to like get anything substantial for Fastlane. That's in like 2 weeks.
I don't get it. I think it's part of it. Again, part of it's cold nostalgia, all that, the memories, yada, yada, yada. But I think it's selfish from a business aspect of it. I think it's really selfish and I think it's stupid. They don't need him. Leave him alone. Why bring him back this early? Because Rock even said it himself. Go back and listen to the Pat McAfee show this past weekend. Rock even said it himself. WrestleMania isn't where stories end. It's where stories begin. Case in point, do you remember when Ronda Rousey first made her appearance? Where did she make her appearance at?
When they Royal Rumble?
No. She showed up with The Rock. The Rock pulled her out of the crowd and pulled her in with Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. Remember that?
I gotcha, yeah.
So why are we bringing him in at Fastlane? Or before Fastlane? I know he's not going to be at Fastlane, but why are we bringing him in before Fastlane? If stories start at WrestleMania. Makes no sense. And the dude's like 50 years old. Was he got one more good run in him? I mean, was he going to fight till he's 60?
Maybe it's to establish, have a Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes rematch, WrestleMania 40. At some point, it'll be, Roman Reigns and The Rock, maybe for number 41.
That's a long time away, and that's hoping he doesn't get hurt in between then and now. That's a long time away. You're talking 2 years. What's he going to do? He's just going to pop up every couple of SmackDown, say a few words, and then leave?
True.
That's going to get boring. I don't know. I mean, for me, I didn't like it, but I thought it was cool. I mean, do you have any thoughts on it at all?
I was giddy as a little schoolboy, to be honest, man. As soon as that music hit,
I was too.
Immediately, in my mind, I saw them kind of pushing for the angle of Rock and Roman. Now, the only reason he came back was to set up something with Roman Reigns. And who's the head creative behind all of that? Roman Reigns. The Rock is back because of him. So it's not like, they're itching to try and bring back old timers and, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? Clearly it's because they think that there's still a little bit more water in that well, and Roman Reigns is the one that specifically asked for it. They're the fucking Martin Scorsese of the Bloodline story, him and Paul Heyman. I mean, come on now. No one's going to come back. No one's going to bring The Rock back unless it was Roman. period. Like they even said, they're the ones that have been writing this whole thing, and which is why it's been dragged out for so many fucking years.
No, what has it been? 3 years now they've been dragging this out?
Yeah. No other performer has been given that much creative leeway for that long, and to, kind of.
I have.
What? Who?
Have you seen gas prices?
No, but give me some Taco Bell, my gas will be free. Come on, baby, I'm here all night. Hive, what are you doing, bro? Yeah, my boy Hive's good.
Okay, all right. What's up, Hive? But
he's Canadian. What do you expect? Palette. What the fuck is what? Palia. Speak English.
Look, you're gonna come in here cussing me out in Canadian. I'm gonna have to rock bottom you.
Oh.
Yo,
I got one for you though. So what the hell is going on with LA Knight and my boy Kevin Nash?
I've been missing out on the Twitter game, so I don't know.
Dude, there's some fucking shit brewing up there, and it's getting kind of interesting. Kevin Nash saying LA Knight, wasn't really that big of a nobody, that big of a somebody. He's getting all of his stuff left and right, from other people. He's not original. And LA Knight goes back and cuts what do you call it? A shoot on one of Kevin Nash's old promos from WCW days. And basically, kind of subtly called Kevin Nash a fucking moron. And they're kind of going back and forth, bro.
Well, it's one of two things. It's a work.
But why would Kevin Nash? He's not coming back. If you have this much problem with The Rock coming back, then I would feel the same way if Kevin Nash was to just come out.
I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I don't know.
Do you think it's legit beef?
It could be. I didn't know anything about this. This honestly, this is news to me. I didn't know any. I've been missing on the Twitter world, so I don't know. I'm gonna start watching now.
Oh, dude, I'm all over it.
So, no disrespect to Kevin Nash, because I know he's one of your favorites, but I'm going to say this: he's kind of a bitch on Twitter.
That's blasphemy.
I know. I don't like it either. I don't like saying that, but he's kind of a bitch.
Dude, Kevin Nash is the greatest.
But
He is.
I can't
Shut that face hole. Kevin Nash is the man.
He's kind of a bitch. He really is.
Diesel, man. Fucking powerbombing people. Oh, dude. I can do Kevin Nash. I can watch all of his shit all day.
Put your panties back on. It's okay. Now I don't know, man. I'm gonna look into this because now you have piqued my interest, because I was a Kevin Nash fan growing up. Obviously, I'm an LA Knight fan. Okay, speaking of wrestlers, did you see Monday night Chad Gable versus, why am I drawing a blank on his name just now? Oh my gosh.
Not Gunther.
Who did he fight Monday? Big dude, burly dude, 400-pound dude.
The Ivan guy?
Oh gosh, what is his name?
can't
He said he was going to suplex him, and then he couldn't suplex him. Chad Gable fight Monday Night Raw. Not Gunther. All I can
Was
find
it
is
last night?
yes.
I didn't watch last night. I was watching Monday Night Football.
What was his name?
The main event was Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre.
Raw Chad.
Bronson Reed.
Yes, dude. I want to see that guy, and I want to see Otis get into it.
Oh,
I think that would be awesome. I have one negative thing to say about Monday Night Raw, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get it out of the way quick.
Okay.
Stop with the Judgment Day. Jey Uso's not joining him. I don't know why Cody Rhodes decided to come help him. That was the most randomest thing ever. Now apparently the cheat sheets are saying that Drew McIntyre is going to turn heel. So what, is Drew McIntyre going to join the Judgment Day? Are you kidding me?
It was already rumored that he was going to turn heel, and his match with Kofi Kingston kind of solidified that last week. You know, he was kind of playing up on that heel turn a little bit too long. You know it's coming.
Yeah. So I just stop it with Judgment Day. Nobody cares. Seriously, nobody cares.
I mean, I told you about the whole heel turn during the whole tag team when they first started the tag team with Matt Riddle. I'm like,
I know.
It's gonna be a heel turn.
We saw it coming from a mile away. Just stop at the Judgment Day. And if Drew McIntyre joins Judgment Day, I'm going to just give up all hope for the writers. And that was the other point I wanted to make with The Rock. And I know I'm backpedaling here, but I think part of the reason The Rock came back is because we're still on this writer strike. So they're running out of ideas. Sorry, beer burps.
Well, no, now, okay. Help me understand this. So the writer's strike, how does that influence the creative team because it's not the same writers. You don't have the same writers that are writing for Conan or Tonight Show or fucking Third Rock from the Sun TV show.
Dude,
you don't have those same writers in WWE, do you?
I can barely figure out what cereal to put in my basket at Walmart. Don't ask me about writers. Don't ask me about writer strike. No, in all seriousness, I don't know, man. That's what I'm gathering. I didn't know if maybe the writer strike had something to do with The Rock coming back. Maybe.
I think it has less to do with the writer strike and more to do with the whole organization change, going under the TKO umbrella, kind of merging with UFC. You know, they're trying to bring a pop to something that is basically no more McMahon. You know what I mean?
UFC is fake. I said what I said. I'm not sorry. Sorry.
I'm gonna tag that. I'm gonna clip it. I'm gonna tag John Jones. I'm gonna send him to your house.
Okay. I look forward to it, John Jones. I really do.
Oh man, he'll show you what to fucking put in your breakfast bowl.
I'm tagging that one. So
dude, this is on my first one. You're in for a night,
right? All right. I guess it's time. We need to talk. Well, you know what? No, fuck that. We're going to talk about beer for a minute because have you been paying attention to Strikeout Beer at all?
Yeah.
You know, we kind of got called out the other night, and
I didn't see that.
It kind of struck a chord. Normally, when little piss ants say things, I don't really get too antsy about it, but this one kind of struck a chord with me. They said that who needs another wrestling podcast? We are not just a wrestling podcast. We are a craft beer, mind you, and wrestling podcast. So take that and put it in your pipe and smoke it, you jabroni.
Which one's to that one? I didn't watch it.
The one with the beard.
Motherfucker. All right, text me then.
How you liking your beer?
I'm liking it, man. It sucks that it's the last one in my 6-pack, but
it was Rapid Dave, by the way. I almost texted you. I was like, nah, screw that. You know what? I like this beer. It's a Weisse. We all know how I love the Weisses because that's all I've been drinking on the show since we started, except for the lager that I did last week, which really sucks because I realized that I'm running out of Weisses and soon I'm going to have to go to some real beer. I'm going to have to pick up some IPAs.
Well, okay, so Denton County is going to be releasing a lot of great new ones here in the next month. They already have their own Oktoberfest. They're going to have a variation of the Oktoberfest.
Do they have more long time coming?
They might. Around the end of the year is typically when they start doing like the barrel age stuff. So I would not be a bit surprised if they had a barrel age variant of long time coming. That's when they released the barrel age of Night Witch.
You know that I can't do dark beer, right? We've talked about this.
It's a barrel aged IPA or a barrel aged Weisse. How dark can you get?
Okay, that I can do. Barrel aged and Weisse, I'm in. No, I really do, man. I like this one. Like I said, it packs a really. It's very potent, but it's very good.
I really liked the Sucker Punch variation. It was the blueberry goose or blueberry. I forgot what it was. I sent you a photo of it before. I got it back in July. You know what I'm talking about?
Wow, I'm getting old. Did you see what I just did?
No.
I had to hold my phone back. I had to hold
my phone.
Yeah.
You are getting old, bro.
I had to adjust my eyes.
So it was a Sucker Punch. It was the Goldberry Berliner Weisse. But it was Goldberry. Whatever the fuck a Goldberry is, but it was Goldberry Berliner Weisse.
Huh.
It's pretty good, man.
Okay.
Found it over at Total Wine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Dude, that's my candy store right there.
That
and Whippin'. I can find all my favorite craft beer and new stuff, like both places.
On what?
Whippin', Total Wine. So it's a gas station.
Women.
No, Whip in, not women.
Oh, okay. Whip women.
Wow, bro.
Oh, whoa. That was different.
That's going to be a clip. Go hide, clip that. Homeboy's in trouble.
Oh, man. Oh, somebody's got to, if something happens to me, delete my search history quick.
Oh, my gosh. I'm telling you, man. You can see some rowdy shit.
Now I don't know where I was going with that, but I between Three Nations and Denton County, it's really hard for me to go to any other brewery now. I know Denton County is closer for you, I think, than it is for me. Yeah.
I go to all over the place, bro.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
I still haven't been to. Is it Bearded Monk that's right next to them?
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet.
That is, I believe it's rated the top 3 locations in Texas for craft beer.
Ooh.
Because of its huge selection and because let me see. Bearded Monk.
Oh, he's posting clips in our.
Nice.
Wait, I don't know who that is. Is that me?
That would be you.
Ooh, oh. Oh well. Sorry, internet.
All right, so check it out. Bearded Monk is Denton's first craft beer only bottle shop and growler fill bar.
What the hell's a growler?
It's the jug looking kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get a crowler, which starts with a C, and it's more like the smaller one. It's like a 32-ounce kind of thing. And then you got the 64. Yeah, you got the 64-ounce. Looks like a big whiskey jug.
Okay, yeah. Three Nations has got a variation of that too. Okay, I got you. We're yeah. I got to put a dip in. I'm going crazy.
Yeah, go for it. But dude, they have like tons of shit. Fortunately, you only had mainstream beers like what? Bud Light, Coors. I mean, nothing wrong with that though. I mean, shit, that's what I started on.
That's what we all started on. I mean, people who drink craft beer didn't just pick up an IPA and go, I bet I'll like this.
Yeah, but you know what? So I heard Rapid Dave say this, so many times too, is they don't hate on the type of beer that other people drink. And I'm the same way. I started off doing nothing but Bud Light. That and Coors Light. It was the cheap stuff. You have like $15. You can get a case of 21 beers.
I don't hate on people that drink anything. However, my opinion of you may slightly be altered if I notice that you're drinking like Bud Ice or Natty Light. So if I see you drinking a Natty Light or a Keystone Light, I'm just assuming that you're a beer drinker on a budget. If you're drinking Bud Ice, I'm just going to assume that you're working on your third warrant and probably your fourth ex-wife.
Bro, you want to know something funny? I was on a budget, and this was like years ago. This was during my I was what's the word I'm looking for? I was really hard up for beer. I was on a budget. I was desperate.
I got you.
And I'm like, okay, I can spend this much for maybe, a 6-pack of Bud Light, or I can spend this much and get, the same amount and get like a case of Steel Reserve.
Oh.
And I'm over here thinking, I'm looking at the can and I'm like, all right, this is another like Miller Lite kind of thing. I'm thinking it has something to do with Miller Lite. I took one drink of it and I nearly gagged. It was so fucking disgusting. Again, I'm not going to hate on anybody and what they drink, but anyone who can stomach Steel Reserve, shit.
More power to you, man.
You, man.
Right? More power to you. So, I got to tell this quick story since you brought that up. I was never a big drinker until probably I say my college years after high school. That's when I started kind of getting into drinking a little bit. Beer's never been my thing. We know this, but a good night for me was a handle, which is a liter of McCormick's vodka and a 30-pack of Keystone Light. We called it the Dirty 30 because for $30 I could get a 30-pack of Keystone and a handle of vodka. And that was a fun night for me back in the day.
Man.
And my best friend to the day I die, his name is Jared. Big shout out to him. He was older than I was, so he always bought me beer. We graduated the same year, long story, but he always bought me beer and liquor. And he looked at me one night when I told him I wanted a handle of McCormick's vodka and Keystone, and he goes, "You hate yourself?" And it wasn't until I reached, I think it was like 25 or 26. One night we got a wild hair up our ass, and I thought, you know what, for old time's sake, we're 25, 26 years old, something like that. We got a 30 pack and a handle of McCormick's vodka. I took one sip of each and I went, nope.
Oh man, that kind of dude, that reminds me of when I was 18. And so, you know, when I was 18, you know, I would drink you remember Red Dog?
Mad Dog? Was it
No,
Mad Dog?
Red Dog.
Yes,
Had a red
yes.
bulldog on the fucking. That's what I drank. You know, I was fortunate. I had some older friends who would buy some beer and they'd hook me up. I was underage, you know. And when I was 18, you know, I'm over here thinking, all right, I'm a big boy now. You know, I don't want just beer, right? And I'll never forget this, dude. I tell my wife constantly about this. We went to the movies. I was already kind of drunk from Red Dog anyway.
Oh gosh.
Went to go see the Halloween movie that came out on my birthday. It was Halloween H2O. I saw that it came out on my birthday in '98. And after the movie, I'm watching this and I'm getting I'm like, oh yeah, kill him. You know, I was drunk, I was loud, I was 18. After the movie, we're all at a Red Dog. So my friends drive out to the liquor store and they're like 22, 23, give or take, maybe 24.
Right.
And they get a bottle of Goldschlager.
Oh.
And I'm in the back of a truck. Now, my dude, Luke, he drove. I don't know what he's doing now, but he drove a Dodge Ram. And it was one of those small cabs in the back. So you're either like scrunched up in the back, in the front seat with him, or you're riding in the bed. I was in the bed. We're driving down the interstate. We have an open bottle of Goldschlager.
I already see where this is going.
I'm having fun, dude. Right? I don't know how much time passed. And this was a time where, you know, there's a stretch of road, Military Drive in San Antonio. It's where everyone takes all their souped up cars and trucks. You're driving like 5 miles an hour. You hear the bass going. It's a show off party. So we go there. You know, we're like, hey, you know, we have our Goldschlager. We're the truck is just bouncing. You know what I mean? And we get a message from one of my friends. They're doing poker party, this and that, whatever. We're running out of Goldschlager, and they invite us over. And when we get there, we're like, you know, we're getting a little bit tired of the Goldschlager. This is around the time you're getting those cinnamon, those gold chips at the bottom.
Oh, God.
And somewhere along the line, there was a second bottle that came in, but it was still like maybe this much, under a quarter, not that much. But we're like, what else do you have to drink? And they bust out a full bottle of Everclear. I look at it. I'm like, all right, is this something like vodka? Like what is this? And they're like, it's super strong. And they show me on the bottle, do not drink alone. Mix it with something. My dumbass and all my infinite stupidity thought it was wise when I read the back of an alcohol bottle, when it says mixed with something, to mix Everclear with Goldschlager. Yeah. Needless to say, dude, I don't remember much after that, dude. I was sick for about like a week, maybe 2 weeks. Like I basically had alcohol poisoning, and like no one, it was during a time where like no one really paid too much attention. It was like, you know, you have friends that got like a little magic marker or some shit, and they write shit on your forehead because you pass out. And it was, I've never really got into beer or liquor after that until maybe within the last 10 years. And then it was just like Bud Light, like the really simple horse piss beers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I was like, fuck everything else. I cannot do it. And then I met my friend Sean, and he introduced me to craft beer slowly but surely, and here we are.
Cheers. So I'll say this before I say anything. I was still a young, stupid kid. I was 22, 23 when this happened. I was 21, 22 when this happened. So understand that this is not now. This was way back when, okay?
Oh, okay.
Back in my heyday, I'd become quite the partier, and I was a young dad. I was, still trying to find my way in life. I was working for an establishment. I won't say the name of it. But my call sign was Whiskey Pro. They called me Whiskey over the radio anytime there was an issue. And one night we went to a certain bar, a certain establishment. And this place was known for picking fights. And I was known for having a bottle of whiskey in one hand and a fist ready in the other. And I don't know what came over me one night, but my one incident with Everclear. I'm halfway through my second bottle of whiskey. My second bottle of whiskey. I'm going to say that again so you understand me. I've only chugged twice in my life. The first time was with Everclear. And it was half the bottle.
Wow.
I don't remember what happened next, but I do know that I missed 2 days of work.
So I imagine so.
Because when I woke up, I was in Huntsville Hospital.
Fuck.
Drink responsibly, kids, and don't drink Everclear.
No, dude, I have not touched a bottle of Everclear since August of 1998. Legit, I've never touched a bottle since. I will not. I've never touched Goldschlager since that night. I've never touched either one. I refuse to. I cannot. I don't remember what happened, but just seeing the bottles, it's almost like you get that PTSD. It's like, something bad happened. You know?
Hypnotic and Everclear, two things that I will never touch again in my life. You couldn't pay me enough.
You know, there is one thing that everyone compares to Everclear that I genuinely do have an interest in trying. And it's absinthe. You shaking your head no because you will never try it, or you don't know what it is?
I've heard horror stories about it. I've personally never had a run-in with it.
It looks a lot like Jägermeister a little bit. It's like the greenish tint.
It's this generation's Everclear because kids are getting stupid with it. And that's not me trying to be a downer. I'm being serious for a moment.
Dude, absinthe has been around since like the 1700s, though.
Yeah, I know. And this generation, for some reason, has decided.
Really? Mm-hmm. I know it's like really big out in England. Like they make, supposedly, the UK makes a lot of phenomenal drinks with absinthe. I think that's how you pronounce it.
think so. And even your
But-
buddies coming in, I was told to never touch it. So
Yeah, don't ever touch it, Hive.
So there you go. Beer and liquor podcast. Now that that's out of the way, this last thing I want to kind of get into tonight are overrated and underrated. Now, we're all critics of wrestlers, right? We have our favorites that we like. We have our favorites that we hate, whether it's because they're heel or we think they're overrated or underrated, whatever the case may be. I'm going to let you go first on yours.
All right. What do you want to start off with? Underrated or overrated?
Well, let's do overrated first.
All right. I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for this, but my two overrateds, nothing against them personally. I just can never really get behind either one of them. One of them is a United States champion, heavyweight champion, everything. John Cena. Nothing against him personally. I'm sure he had a lot of great moments. I mean, he's had a really long career. It's getting up there with what Undertaker did. Was he year 18?
18 or 19, yeah.
18, 19? It's up there. So huge kudos to him for staying relevant this long that they had to bring him back to try and push over Austin Theory. LA Knight. When he gets on the mic, I'm not too interested. And I'd say half of his matches I'll watch. I'm like, So he's one of my overrated spots.
Okay, I'm gonna counter that for just a moment.
Okay.
And I'm not some big John Cena advocate. Okay, I think his matches do drag on for some reason. I don't know if that's him. I don't know if that's creative. I don't know if they're just trying to fill TV time. Just for me, when I watch a Cena match, I'm just like, when's this thing gonna be over with? I find myself fast forwarding through a lot of his matches just because I'm just not there. They just don't grab me, Now, on the mic, I think he's one of the best. Hands down, one of the best. For me. Cutting a promo, talking trash. For me, he's one of the best. I like the stuff he's done outside the ring. Not so much as his movies side, but just all the Make-A-Wish stuff. I mean, he's the most requested Make-A-Wish person there is. He's fulfilled the most. Kudos to him for that. So, but going back to what you said about the matches, when I look back on Cena's career, 2 matches stand out to me. Actually, 3. One of them was his debut with Ruthless Aggression when he fought Kurt Angle, and the other 2 were with The Rock. Other than that, I mean, he's had a lot.
I never got into either one with The Rock. And I agree with Hive. He's just a legend now. I mean, he's an icon now, but I must have missed something in the period of time from when he started to now, when, he is one of those WWE legends. I must have missed how he got there because whenever he was billed, I didn't ever really look forward to his matches.
I think, for me as a fan, and I'm not going to speak for everybody, I'm speaking for me. For somebody like me who's not a big fan of his in the ring, it's his out of the ring stuff that you just look back and you go, you know what? Dude's all right.
Well, and that's why I said I got nothing against him personally, but for me, it was the mic skills and how interested was I in his matches.
Okay, fair enough.
And if I'm looking at this like 18, 19-year career, and I can name, he wrestled Kurt Angle, Edge, I believe. Didn't he go toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar? The Rock twice. None of them really stand out to me.
He had a small feud with Mark Henry that lasted, I think, 2 weeks. Didn't even go to a pay-per-view. He had that stint with Bray Wyatt, which was weird, where John Cena ended up like walking into a dream where he was part of the NWO. That whole thing made no sense to me.
He is. Lesnar is a fucking beast. Now, he's one where as soon as he's announced for a match, all right, this is going to be entertaining. All he's going to fucking do is spear people in the corner, power bomb them, do the belly back suplex, and then it's over.
Well, and see, that's the thing.
That's what he does. But John Cena, it's like nothing made me gravitate toward his
nothing resonates with you. Nothing resonates.
Right.
With you. Yeah.
So that's why for me, as a performer, I stress that a lot. As a performer, I would say he's overrated.
Okay, fair enough. Next one.
As an individual, out of ring stuff, the Make-A-Wish, yeah, but that has nothing to do with his in-ring stuff of what I'm judging. Does that make sense?
No, I got you.
As outside the ring, fucking dude, you cannot touch him. But I don't know. I never really got into his mic skills, and I really never really got into his matches.
Fair enough.
So, the other one, I struggled with this one because I kind of liked him. And I was watching a documentary the other night, which kind of featured him a little bit. Goldust.
Oh, you bitch.
His mic skills, but not weird, somewhat phenomenal. They were really good. But he's also one of those where when he got in the ring, I didn't know what the fuck I was watching. I really didn't. He doesn't have anything that really stands out to me. Not even when but it just help me out here. Name some of the matches that resonate with you for Goldust.
Does he have any one match that stands out? No, he doesn't. I'll be the first one to admit that. He doesn't have one match that really solidified his career. He doesn't have one match that really, but he wasn't a top tier star. He wasn't a John Cena. He wasn't a Rock. He wasn't a Hulk Hogan. He was a mid-carder. He was a jobber. He was comic relief. So I'm going to give you a peek now. My underrated is Goldust. Dustin
What?
Rhodes. Yes. He has an incredible mind for the business because look who his father was.
Yeah.
And
but Goldust? Could they not do anything better with him?
No, they couldn't because they didn't have a place for him. And I'm gonna go a step further. And I've said this before, and I've made it well known, and I'll say it again. I think before Stone Cold, Goldust kicked off the Attitude Era because that was edgy, that was different. Nobody was doing stuff like that. He was.
Yeah.
I mean, now would that character last in today's world? No. Absolutely not. Cancel culture would be all over that.
But you can't judge a person just from the mic skills.
Well, and I'm not talking about his mic skills. His
in-ring performance never really jumped out.
It never really jumped out, but he was always paying homage to his dad, which I really liked. And he has a great mind for the business. A lot of the behind the scenes stuff he does. And he is notorious for making people break character. He did it to Booker T. He did it to The Rock. He did it to Triple H. He did it to Ric Flair.
No.
Those four guys alone right there. I mean, if you could make them break character on camera in front of a live audience, you're doing something right. And he was funny. Now, his mic skills, okay, they're not, again, they're not The Rock. He's not John Cena. He's not Stone Cold, but he's funny. And even if it's funny to a handful of people, it's just I like him for his mindset, his business mindset for the business of wrestling itself. That's what I like about it.
Okay. So he was one of your underrated.
Yes, absolutely. Right. And I will die on that hill. Don't care. I've got a few overrateds.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with one, and I can't believe I put him on this list, but I did. He was an ECW original. Fun to watch, but I never got behind him. I never really liked the character itself. And I'm talking about the man,
Raven
RVD.
Really?
I
thought he was overrated?
I thought he was fun to watch, but I just never got behind him. I thought his mic skills were horrible. His entrance was meh. It was okay. I mean, it was fun. It was catchy. The RVD thing. It was. I just like.
He was like a miniature Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I guess. I'm going to mention two honorable mentions. The Great Khali. I mean, he was a bust. Sorry, but he was. Yeah. He was a total bust. Here's one that'll shock people. Another honorable mention of mine, JBL.
I can see that.
I never. He was fun to watch in APA when he was with Farouk and APA, but other than that, but the two that really resonate with me the most are Warrior, waste of talent, complete waste of talent.
Yeah.
I think it's sad what happened to him. I'm glad that he was able to get all that, clear the air before he passed. And it was really sad how he passed in front of his family. But I never really got into the Warrior. I thought he was overhyped. I thought he was overrated. He didn't sell for anybody. His mic skills were, his promos were just weird.
Yeah.
And the other one, probably the biggest flop in WWF history, Lex Luger. The Lex Express, Lex Luger, he was supposed to be the next Hulk Hogan, and he had everything. He had the look, he had the moves, he had the build, but he had no charisma. He had no mic skills.
That whole driving from city to city in a tour bus promoting that match with Yokozuna, that was kind of weird.
I thought that was the biggest flop in wrestling history. I really did. To this day,
and he lost too, didn't he?
I don't remember.
All right. Okay, so those are your overrated, right?
Those are my overrateds.
Okay.
So underrateds, go ahead.
Ooh. All right, so I'm gonna have to go old school here.
All
right. Just because I picked a time that there was a lot of talent around, not a lot of time. And I think these two guys weren't given the big push that they wanted or they needed. Okay. Owen Hart, European champion, 2-time Intercontinental champion, 4-time tag team champion, King of the Ring. The weird stuff that he did with Blue Blazer reminded me a lot of Goldust. I don't understand. But he had a lot of great rivalries too, even within his family. The feud with Bret Hart, phenomenal. The
Stone
feud
Cold
with British Bulldog, phenomenal. Stone Cold, phenomenal. His mic skills on point. You couldn't ask for a better technical wrestler. He was second to maybe Bret Hart at the time.
I'll agree with that.
During the 90s, like just at that time, this was like mid to late 90s. No better technical wrestler other than maybe Bret Hart. Shawn Michaels wasn't really technical. He was more high flyer, stuff like that. So
Shawn Michaels was an entertainer.
He was an entertainer. Okay. But I think had they not been so focused on Shawn Michaels being the face of the company and feuding with Bret Hart. I find it a shame that Owen Hart never held that top title.
I agree with that.
As big of a push as they always seem to give him. I mean, the dude's like a freaking champ.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I think he was underrated. I don't think he ever got that major push. And I would say the other one is two-time Intercontinental champ, Mr. Perfect.
Nice. Okay. All right.
He completely underrated.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
I mean, I can't say enough about Mr. Perfect. The shit he did with Ted DiBiase, ravishing Rick Rude, Rick Martel, Bret Hart. I mean,
he did stuff in WCW too, which a lot of people forget.
Oh yeah, with Flair, right? And he did some stuff with Sting.
I don't remember the Sting thing. That WCW for me is kind of a blur, honestly, because I was so zoned into Raw back then. The only time I really tuned in to WCW is when it was either Hulk Hogan or that was DDP.
Okay.
So when those two were on WCW, I was zoned in, but everything else, I was, to this day, I'm still a Monday Night Raw guy. I always have been, always will be.
Yeah, I'll occasionally watch like those documentaries about the Monday Night Raw wars or the Monday Night Wars. You know how they always go back and forth. You know, you have D-Generation X driving a fucking tank to WCW buildings. WCW people are saying, you know, hey, Raw is pre-taped. Here's who wins. Why even watch them? They were both doing some shady shit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was fun, but
and quick shout out. I know he'll never see this, but Eric Bischoff, 83 weeks with oh gosh, what is his name? Connor. Hang on, I'll find it. Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy.
Connor Konor.
Conrad Thompson. Conrad Thompson and Eric Bischoff, 83 Weeks podcast. They literally talk all the time. And they're still doing it, but it got really big a few years ago. The 83 weeks, you know, the 83 weeks where WCW was beating WWE in the Monday Night Wars, and it was amazing. It was a great time because you were tuning into Monday Nitro, you were turning into Raw, you were going back and forth. And it really was a fun time to be alive. It was a great time to be a wrestling fan. Now, you mentioned Mr. Perfect. He was one of my honorable mentions for underrated. I
loved Mr. Perfect.
If you talk to Bret Hart, if you talk to Stone Cold, if you talk to, I think Scott Hall, have all been on record saying that Mr. Perfect was a great leader in the locker room. He was really good at getting at pushing guys, and he pushed them in a way where he would motivate them. He was a great motivator in the locker room. He'd rib you, you know, he'd pull a bunch of jokes, just like Owen Hart. Owen Hart was known for that too. He'd pull ribs, but he was really good at getting guys to, you know, push themselves to become better. So he's on my list.
Yeah, Kurt Hennig belongs like right there.
Another one that is an honorable mention for me, I don't think he gets enough credit. I really don't, is William Regal. Great mind for the business. I never got into his mic skills. They weren't for me.
I never got into his mic skills or wrestling skills, to be honest.
But man, I've never, ever, in all the years that I've been around wrestling and in the podcast world and watching and listening, not one person has ever said anything negative about William Regal. Not one. They say he
definitely has the knack for the business. I will give him that. But he's also one that never really stood out.
Another one for me, Dean Malenko.
Never really got into Dean Malenko.
Great technical wrestler. Had a lot of stuff with Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero. Even I'm going to say his name. I know he the name that shouldn't be brought up in wrestling, but I'm gonna say it. Even Chris Benoit, he had a lot of great stuff with Dean Malenko, and he was one again. Mike's skills weren't all that great. He was more of a the quiet type that kind of stood in the back. He wasn't a main megastar, but he had a way of in-ring wrestling people. He made them look better than they were. Now, I can't think of any one match that really stands out. Maybe him and Chavo or him and Eddie Guerrero. I know they had a few matches, or him and Rey Mysterio Jr. back when Rey Mysterio was, young. But great mind for the business. And again, nobody ever said anything negative about him. Now, my last two, these are very near and dear to my heart. So, Goldust. I've already said why. Seeing who his father was, he's got a great mind for the business. Mike's skills to me were he was fun to watch. He was funny. He was entertaining. He was goofy. And I like that kind of shtick. I mean, I'm a fan of Otis, right? I'm a fan of Goldust. I like that kind of goofy shtick, where the back and forth and the making. If you can't make fun of yourself, man, you're in the wrong business when it comes to wrestling, because they all have to do it at some point. Stone Cold did it. Kurt Angle did it. I think even The Undertaker at one point did it. They all kind of make fun of themselves. My last one. And he's got a documentary out right now on Netflix called Wrestlers. I started it. I have to finish it because I only got 20 minutes in. I got sidetracked. Al Snow.
You said that's on Netflix?
Yes. Al Snow is one of the greatest minds in this business, and I will die on that hill. He's horrible with money, but great mind for the business. He had the whole thing with him and what was that head, the mannequin head that he had. Yeah, he had that tag team with him and Steve Blackman. It just, I think he's like 60 years old. The guy still looks like he can beat your ass. It's insane, but great mind for the business. He's funny. He's entertaining, very down to earth. He's actually taken over OVW. And if you know anything about wrestling and you know anything about OVW, that's where OVW had the class of John Cena, Batista, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton. Need I say more? So, The Miz came out of OVW. A lot of Big Show was there at one point. So a lot of great wrestlers came out of OVW, and he's taken it over. And now it's kind of struggling a little bit now. But I really do. I need to finish that series on Netflix. That I think it's either Wrestler or Wrestlers. It's on Netflix, and I got
plural. It's Wrestlers. I just now added it.
Okay. But I absolutely love Al Snow. Absolutely love Goldust. William Regal, again, never heard anything negative about the guy. I have heard that he'll rough you up a little bit, that being William Regal, but he doesn't in a way where he does it out of love, if that makes sense. He's doing it so you know what you're getting into. He'll take guys and he'll rough them up, and he'll tell you, he goes, I'm either going to rough you up or I'm going to break you. One of the two is going to happen. So, but that's my over and underrated guys. And I don't know. I felt like that had to be brought up. If you're talking now, can we stop with the Roman Reigns being overrated thing? I was on that bandwagon for a while, but if you look what he's done in the last 5 years, clearly somebody in the company sees something with him.
He is, what I told my wife this not too long ago, and I think I told you too. He is one of those guys that I don't like seeing him or hearing him when he comes on TV. I can't stand him. But that's because he's doing such a damn good job of being a heel.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys, fucking huge respect for Roman Reigns. he is one of those rare guys that is so much of a heel. He can make you forget, oh shit, he's really not an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I see fucking clips all the time, people posting of Roman Reigns where he's kind of mean mugging kids, kind of playing around with them too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a little kid going right to him, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And he's mean mugging the back, just having fun with the crowd.
You know,
and it's not televised; it's the live shows. But you know, again, he's one of the very few for me that he's definitely doing something right, because he's blurring that line for me where it's like, all right, I know he's not a dick in real life, but I cannot stand seeing him on this TV anymore. Just get him off. I don't like him.
Yeah, and
I feel bad for saying that, because I'm sure the dude's a great. I've seen a lot of his interviews, and I like him out of ring. It's just as soon as those cameras are on and he's in ring, it's like, I don't like you anymore.
It's a light switch, man. It's a light switch. He knows how to turn it off and on really quick.
Yeah.
You know,
dude's fucking, he's got skills.
And I say this, and again, somebody's going to call me out for it, so I'm just going to say it before anybody beats me to it. I stole this from Paul Heyman. I'm just going to say it. I think it was Dark Side of the Ring. It was one of those A&E documentaries, and when Paul Heyman said it, it resonated with me and it stuck with me. Roman Reigns had a bad string of luck, because you look back and he had the what was it? He had the run with the Shield, right? Mm-hmm. And at the time, he was kind of he was the bronze of the operation. He was the strength. He was the muscle. And the crowd was kind of digging him a little bit. And then they turned him babyface, and for some reason he didn't really stick with the crowd. I don't know why. I don't know if he wasn't over yet for some reason. And then when he announced that he was battling leukemia, everybody was like, oh crap, this is real. And then he came back, and again, he'd been a heel for so long that people had learned to hate him. And they just stuck with that, because wrestling fans, it's weird, because we're told this guy's bad, this guy's bad, this guy's bad, the character. And then when they finally turn him good, it's like that switch doesn't just click. And, you know, now, I mean, he comes out, it's been 3 years since he's been a heel, and people love him. Yeah. So, but, you know, Roman Reigns, I'm tired of hearing this. He's overrated. Okay, you're tired of seeing him win. And we all are. But, okay, here's my question to you. Who else do we have? Well, I said earlier that the roster was stacked, and it is. Okay, go back to the 90s. You had The Rock, you had Stone Cold, you had Undertaker. Undertaker wasn't, you know, a 3-year champion. The Rock wasn't a 3-year champion. Stone Cold wasn't a 3-year champion. You've got Seth Rollins, you've got Roman Reigns. I don't see them putting Shinsuke, whatever his name, knock over a door. I don't see them putting him champion for 3 years. Seth Rollins, possibly. As much as I hate to admit it, I'll give credit where credit is due. Logan Paul, you know, I can't stand the kid, but he was born to be a wrestler, man. He really is. He's an awesome athlete, and I hate saying that, but it's the truth. You have, I think, Chad Gable, if given, again, right push, right time, right place, I think he could carry the company for a while, be the face for a little bit, but I said,
that's right, Hive. He said, Logan.
I said, look, you say what you want about the kid, but I'm telling you now, the kid has got something. He's talented. And I hate saying that. I do. Trust me, it pains my soul to say that, but it's true. Don't believe me? Go watch his highlight reel. It's endless. I
mean,
he's a donkey.
There are very, very few people that can carry the company like he does. A lot of people are making the argument Cody Rhodes could be one of them. But I'll be honest, the last several matches that I love Cody Rhodes.
I do
The
too.
last several of his matches, I wasn't that hyped to watch.
The last match,
his whole thing with like Brock Lesnar and then helping KO and Sami Zayn with Judgment. I'm like, why? I lost that momentum with him.
I kind of see that. I thought the Brock Lesnar thing was cool. I thought it was fun. But I'm with you. You know,
he didn't need it. He's no Austin Theory. He doesn't need a push.
He doesn't need to get over. I think part of that was, and I could be wrong on this, and if somebody wants to prove me wrong, fine, go for it. I don't care. I think part of that was creative, kind of, I don't want to say running out of ideas, but they were kind of limited with their ideas maybe at the time because they didn't really know who to put Brock with, but Brock still had a contract. Now, I will say this. In recent time, that one Monday night where Brock turned on Cody, you know, he came out there with Roman
right
Reigns.
After WrestleMania. Yep.
Yeah, it was right after WrestleMania, and he came out there and he teamed with Cody. I was like, this is awesome, yes. And then he turned on him, and I was like, what just happened? You know, but I like that. I like that shock value because none of us saw it coming. And if you say you saw it coming, you're lying. No, you didn't. Shut up. You didn't see it coming. But that's the thing is we didn't see that coming. I like that stuff. I want more of that. Like I'm kind of waiting. I don't want this to happen because I like both of them, but I'm kind of waiting for Otis to turn on Chad Gable. But here's my problem. As much as I like Otis and as much as I like Chad Gable, I don't see that being a huge rivalry for very long, maybe 2 pay-per-views. You know, I
don't think it would be a rivalry at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. But Chad Gable, again, underrated in my opinion. I swear if he can keep the fire that he has, he is you mark my words, he is the next Kurt Angle. You know, like people get mad at me when I say this. I'm not a fan of Dirty Dom. I don't like his mic skills. It's not because he's a bad guy. If they're a heel, great. I mean, I'm just not into it. I'm just not. I'm like, okay.
He's another one for me, just like Roman Reigns. I don't like him as soon as those cameras come on. But he's a fucking hell of a guy, like out of the ring. He's another one that blurs that line. It's like he makes you hate him so much, you forget he's not really an asshole. Like, bring it back a notch. You know what I mean?
Right. But I don't know, man. And, you know, this is, I say this every show. I do, but this is why we started this podcast, is to have a couple of beers with our buddies and talk wrestling and just have fun with it. And I'm really enjoying wrestling right now. And I will admit, this past Monday night, I kind of just faded out a little bit. The Becky Lynch thing is cool. She had the open challenge with Natalya. That was kind of a fun match to watch. I'm no disrespect to Natalya, but I can't get into her in-ring performance. It's very blah to me. It's very mundane. And that's not saying she's a bad wrestler. That's not what I'm saying at all. I personally just can't get into her. Yeah. I will say this. This might be a topic for another show. Becky Lynch, greatest of all time in women's wrestling? Maybe. Possibly. Prove me wrong. And again, if somebody proves me wrong, I'm not against it. I'm not going to sit there and say I'm right, I'm wrong. I don't know. But in my opinion, right now, in recent memory, she's the greatest of all time. And that's coming from somebody who is a diehard Chyna fan and a diehard Lita fan and a diehard Trish Stratus fan. I like all of them. But
yeah,
look what Becky Lynch has done in the short time she's been in the WWE. So,
yeah, I can see that.
Man, I've got nothing else.
I got one name for you though, and I want you to tell me overrated or underrated and why.
Okay.
Goldberg.
Oh gosh, I knew his name was going to get brought up tonight. Here's my thing with Goldberg.
Break it down.
Personally, I love Goldberg. I do. I thought he was kind of the Stone Cold of the WCW, as a lot of other people did. Hell, for a short time, people would get the two confused. Both bald, both had the goatee. An absolute powerhouse. Limited skill set. And I was going to make this point earlier. I forget who we were talking about, but
Brock
Lesnar, those big guys. And I'm talking Brock Lesnar. I'm talking John Cena. I'm talking Goldberg. I'm talking even, I can't believe I'm going to throw this name out there. Forgive me. Undertaker, Kane, Strowman, those bigger guys, they have a limited skill set, a moves. I don't want to say skill set, but a limited move set, right? Because let's face it, they're bigger guys.
The only one who is the exception to that, I would say, is Big Show.
Yeah, yes. And people are going to say, well, Brock Lesnar's not limited. You're right. In his early days when he was 20, 22, 23, he wasn't limited. And then he did the shooting star press with Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, and we saw how that happened. He landed on his head. Now, I bet you if he did that move 10 times over, he would have landed it. The one time he messed it up. But I think that kind of woke him up to crap. I can't be doing all this kind of big stuff like that. I can't be taking all those big pumps. That's why I like Bobby Lashley, and Lashley's another one. He's a UFC fighter. He's got a very limited move set that he does, and it's to keep healthy. The Miz, another one, and he's not even a big guy. He's a small guy compared to wrestlers, But watching
the Miz is entertaining, though. He makes you forget he doesn't really have that much.
Right.
Working,
But back to your point, I kind of got off on a tangent there. I like Goldberg. I like Goldberg. I do. His stuff with Hulk Hogan was fun. I hated how they ended his 100 win streak or whatever it was that he was
Kevin on. Nash.
Yeah, I hated the taser thing. I thought it was stupid. And I was a kid. I was like 15 when that happened, and I was like, "This is stupid. Why are they doing it?" But overrated or underrated, that's tough. I think for a while he carried WCW. I really do, because there was a time where Sting was gone. Ric Flair was kind of nowhere to really be found because he was kind of in limbo at the time. Hulk Hogan and the NWO was doing their thing. And you had guys like DDP that would show up on occasion. I have him right there on that border, man. I do. And I know that's a cop-out answer. It's not the answer you wanted, but I don't think he's overrated. I don't think he's underrated. I think he's where he needed to be for that time. When he came to WWE, at first I hated it. I was like, why are they bringing back this old guy? Because he's like 50. And then, you know what? We got to see a different side of him. We got to see that side where he even said it one day in a promo. He was like, I got my wife and my kid here. They got to see, because his son was really young when he was up and coming, when he was doing his thing in WCW. So his son was older. So his son got to really appreciate what his dad did. So I thought that was cool because, again, it gives you that real life factor of wrestlers. And that's what we want now. We want something that resonates with the fans. Again, sorry you didn't get the answer you wanted. I don't think he's underrated. I don't think he's overrated. I think he's right there in that mid tier where he needed to be. Limited skills, a move set, a complete powerhouse.
You rarely even saw his skill set. 9 times out of 10, match lasted under a minute.
Jackhammer, spear, maybe go to the corner, trade some punches. That's really it. That was it.
I would say all of that, and his mic skills was almost on point with Warrior. It really wasn't anything there. I would always put him. I loved watching him wrestle because I wanted to see how fast he could get through somebody who was eventually going to break that streak. But I would say he's overrated. for me.
Okay, fair enough. And I look again. I won't argue either point. I won't say that he's overrated. I won't say that he's underrated. I thought he was mid tier, and some people say, "Oh, he was overrated." Okay, and my question still stands. Ric Flair was in limbo. I think there was a time where Sting was out, whether it was due to injury, contract negotiations, whatever the case may be. Who did you have in WCW? You had nobody.
Goldberg. I got someone.
Kevin Nash.
No.
Who?
He is someone that I struggled a little bit to put on my underrated list. So I put him as an honorable mention. Raven.
Yeah,
but Raven. He was carrying Nitro for a long while until Goldberg showed up. His stuff with Dan Malenko, his stuff with Perry Saturn.
He wasn't going to get over the fans, though, like Goldberg did.
No, I mean, he was a great heel.
Right.
Raven was a phenomenal heel. He was extremely agile. You know, he was not limited to skill, his in-ring skill set. Mic skills on point. Champion. Multi-champion. I mean, the reason I put him on underrated is because I don't think that he has been given enough respect and accolades for what he did in ECW and WCW.
Fair enough. I don't see it, but again, maybe I'm wrong. I'm trying to come to that business side of things with wrestling. Some things that I say this all the time. I'm going to say it every show. I steal things from Paul Heyman. I steal things from Bubba Ray Dudley. I don't care. Sue me. Don't sue me. I'm broke. You're not going to get anything. But real quick, on a serious note, we've got a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder. So if I lose power, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's going off hardcore over here. There was hail a little while ago.
But I don't know, man. I got into Raven and I thought he was cool, but I just don't see Raven as a big mega star. He was kind of forgive the phrase, and I'm sorry I'm using this, but he was kind of a cult classic. He was fun to watch. He was cool to watch, but I never really saw him getting that big over. I didn't see Raven as like a Goldberg or a Sting or a Hulk Hogan. I never saw it. That's just my opinion. That's my 2 cents.
I consider him a lot to be an early Edge. I think if they would have given him just a little bit more, maybe in a different time, he would have excelled just like Edge did. It was basically the same kind of gimmicks in a roundabout way.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that.
But I mean, everyone was gravitating more toward, WWE at the time. He was doing amazing things with Nitro and ECW. I don't know, man. I always think of him as like the early Edge.
I can see it, yeah, because you had Gangrel in them then. So
yeah.
He had Raven's Flock, Loki. If you remember who Loki is, oh my gosh,
what's his name? Kid something. Fuck, what was his name? It's gonna drive me nuts now. I gotta look it up.
The only reason I know that name is because if you remember the game WCW versus NWO Revenge, Loki was the guy that I used to beat the crap out of him for practice. I'm still to this day undefeated in that game. You give me Sting, or if you gave me Chris Benoit in that game, I owned you. It was over with. It wasn't even a contest. But
find the damn name.
So I have an announcement.
Okay.
Next show, we're reviewing whiskey on the show, or I am. Witherspoon, old fashioned. Now, if you know me and you know anything about me personally, it's one of my favorite whiskeys. Jack Daniels will always be number one. Nothing will ever beat Jack. Jack Daniels is rough. It has a bite to it. As I get older, I don't drink it as much as I used to. But I love the smell of Jack Daniels. I never can get past the smell of Jack Daniels. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. But I think I'm gonna sip on some whiskey next Wednesday or next Tuesday. We're gonna do it.
Cool.
I think Old Fashioned is the only one you can still pick up at Total Wine and More in Louisville. So that being said, man, I've got nothing else. I don't really know what we're gonna do for the next show, unless you have anything particular you want to talk about.
No, I mean, next Saturday is NXT. You know, nothing really going on with that one.
Okay.
I mean, when's the next pay-per-view other than NXT? No Mercy is next weekend on the 30th. Fastlane is October 7th.
Okay.
Yeah, so nothing really.
Okay.
Oh, and I looked up the name Billy Kidman. That's who I was thinking of with Raven and Raven's Flock.
I was thinking of Loki. So it's not the same guy. Loki, WCW. I think his name is Loki. I may be totally mispronouncing his name.
It is Loki, but it's LOW space KI.
I've got LODI.
Lodi?
Lodi.
All right, because this guy was in WWE, TNT, nonstop. Let me see Lodi. Lodi wrestler. Yes! That was him.
Okay, so I got to show you this. Here's a picture of him. This was his character on WCW Revenge.
I still can't believe the Dudley Boys were part of it too, man. You remember that?
No.
The Dudley Boys were part of it. The Blue Meanie was part of it. And this was all in EC Cactus Jack. Oh man, I remember that.
I used him as my punching bag, and that was how I practiced. I played WCW NWO Revenge religiously, and I would probably play it 2 hours a night. And my friends would come over on a Friday night or a Saturday night, after the football game or after all the college football games on Saturdays, and I would just take turns beating up my friends on the game. It was a lot of fun. And then we had one night we had a free for all. It was N64, so it was basically 3-on-1 because my friends would always team up on me, and they never could beat me. I was just too good at that game. I was unbeatable. I fired it up for the first time, I think 2 weeks ago, and I played it on hard, and I was this close to losing, but I had my man. I had Sting. And I was able to pull out a victory in a triple threat match. It was fun.
Ooh.
So I think I got something for next show if you're up for it. Let's do Wrestlers. Let's review the Wrestlers documentary with Al Snow. I'm sorry, I'm a huge fan of Al Snow. It's out. Let's talk about it. Let's get your opinions on it. Obviously, we'll have Friday Night SmackDown to talk about next week. I'll pay more attention to that, or at least try to, and we'll see what happens with The Rock. Again, cool nostalgia. Good for him. I can't get excited about it yet. I just can't. And that may change. That may change in a few weeks. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think it's kind of selfish of him to come back right now. I don't really see the point in him coming back right now. But we'll see what happens, because let's face it, SmackDown is just not what it used to be. So maybe they brought him back for ratings. I don't know. We'll see. But before we get out of here, we got to rate our beers. So what do you rate your beer?
I'd give it a. Nothing really stood out for it. I'd say maybe 3.75.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I like this beer. I do. I'm a fan of Three Nations. I'm a fan of the Sucker Punch. And as much as I like it, for somebody who's getting into craft beers, if you're new to it, it's a Weisse, right? It's not going to have that really beer taste, that bitter taste.
It's an acquired taste. Yeah.
It's an acquired taste. But I will say this, it's good. But if you're new, it's going to just completely shock you with the nutmeg and that apple cider. It's very potent. I'd like the beer. I could drink a lot of these and see myself kicking back on a Saturday watching some college football with them. I'm going to give it a 3.5. Only because I feel like the taste is just overwhelming at times. Again, if you're somebody who just not used to it, you don't know what you're getting into, and you take that first sip, you're like, oh, whoa, what is this? I just feel like that first sip, the first two sips it's an overwhelming of flavors.
I gotcha.
So
yeah, I'll definitely be staying away from that one.
But well, man, it was a fun show. It was a good show.
Hell yeah.
And no more cameos for me. I think I'm done.
Good. No fucking time. I'm telling you that shit for almost a month. Over a month.
I might do one or two. No. Listen. I might do.
No.
Let me finish. I might do something like for somebody for a birthday or an anniversary, something like that, some special occasion. But as far as the show goes, I'm done. I'm done. So that being said, I didn't miss a comment, did I? Great stream.
Nope.
Thank you so much. If you do see this, if you're listening now and you want to be a part of the show, send us a silly recording. Hey, this is so-and-so. You're listening to the Unpadded Podcast with Whiskey and Brews. And our producer here, which I forgot to mention at the top of the show and I meant to, Brews is the official producer of our show.
Bullshit. You're the one running it.
No. You are the producer, sir. I am giving you that title and I want you to own it. You've created our logo. You have your other podcasts that you're bringing back. So I hear, and dude, you've put a lot of work into this and I really appreciate it. So I think you deserve the title and you've earned the title and it's yours. So this is a fun show and I love doing it. I look forward to it every week. I'm not stressed about it. And just have fun with it, man. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
So with that, we will see you next week. As always, I'm Whiskey.
Bruce.